oil. Oil by itself is useless. It has to be refined into diesel and gasoline and naphtha and the rest. And the United States is the world's largest oil refiner and the world's largest exporter of refined product. However, there's this huge mismatch within the American energy sector. Back in the 70s and the 80s, when we were all running out of oil, American refiners became convinced, with good reason, that the future of global crudes were very heavy, very sour, very polluted crude streams. And so what they did was they refined the entire American refining complex to run on the crappiest crude you can imagine, stuff that's just goo or even solid at room temperature. But then we had the shale revolution. And the shale revolution is different in that the crude that is produced from it is super light and super sweet. So right now, American refiners prefer to import the heavy crap stuff from the wider world, leaving the light sweet stuff we produce ourselves available for export. So the smart play here would be to retool or even better expand the American refining complex in order to process not just the crappiest stuff in the world, but also the stuff that we produce ourselves, so we are less dependent upon the inflows and the outflows of exports and imports in order to keep our refining complex alive and keep fuel in the tanks. And for those of you who are super ultra mega greens who are convinced that the internal combustion engine is not the wave of the future, that's fine. Consider that the most aggressive, realistic plan, and it's not very realistic, for getting EVs on the road and stopping the production of internal combustion engine vehicles is not before 2040, which means as late as 2050, the majority of the vehicles that are still on the road are still going to be internal combustion. So even in the most aggressive plan, we are still going to need tens of millions of barrels of gasoline and diesel and the rest for decades to come if we're going to avoid an energy shock where the whole system just cuts down.